Oh, hello. Welcome to the Tainted Lands Mist of Mournton Episode 8 recap. I am Kristen, also known as your resident elderly little baddie rock gnome warlock named Toby. So, when last we saw our party, they were coming out of a underground prison, only to be greeted with a very disturbing scene. There were recently dug graves, an executioner's block. Um, yeah, it was just a very disturbing situation, but Sir Kay and Wallace were making the most out of it. Sir Kay went to investigate a shed that was nearby and ended up picking up an axe. I believe they wanted to rest in this area, but Toby was a little unsettled by these graves and the confrontation of death. So he wanted to desperately move on. And after a little discussion, the rest of the party was on a side to, continue going forward to find a secure place to rest because a lot of the party members did take quite a bit of hits. Some of them were from one another. When and Wallace kind of were under some kind of a magical spell, which forced them to go against each other and the rest of the party. So we desperately needed a place to crash for a little bit. And as we decided to take a certain path and venture on, we noticed that there was a lot of houses that were abandoned and looked like they had been come under siege recently. We did find a house that we were able to rest for a while and get back some of our strength. We decided to venture back to the campsite that was occupied by tons of bandits, and we kind of unleashed an owl bear on them. So, yeah, good times. We wanted to go back there and maybe get some proof that this evil creature was being unleashed on the nearby villages and trying to put a stop to that. So we kind of had a Lord of the Rings moment where we were walking and we were walking and yeah, after a couple days travel and being super exhausted from um, all the walking and traveling, we came to the abandoned campsite, which was still abandoned and kind of in ruins. Um, the party decided to kind of set up a trap where we went back to where we had previously encountered some bear traps, and each took one or a couple back to the campsite and cut down a tree so we could kind of set up this blocking the entrance where they would have to go over the planks of wood that we cut down, and they would fall into the traps. So we kind of felt pretty secure and confident in our trap setting skills, and everyone went to go rest for the evening. Wallace took the first watch, and shortly after he was watching and keeping an eye out for us, and I guess getting reacquainted with his bone pipes, a silhouette and a figure came out of the darkness and approached Wallace and made the claim that I guess he was a murderer. I guess he just said murderer and, um, kind of stared accusatory. Um, he had some choice words for Philly, which it ended up turning out to be. He was not looking that great. As you recall earlier, we kind of left him in a bad situation. We revived him and then kind of knocked him back out. At the time, we could only carry so much, and we made a decision, and it kind of, well, it did come back to haunt us. So Wallace was more in the mindset of bring it on, and some of the other party members woke up to um, this quarrel between the two, and Philly just kept on saying murder and came for us, and we were defending ourselves in the camp, and um, Wallace ended up going down at one point. Wynn turned into a wolf, which was pretty cool, and I don't think any of us had seen previously. So it kind of took us a moment to realize that was Wynn, and she was in a wolf form because she had our was defending our party, and um, so eventually we took down Philly, I guess, again. So maybe he's down for the count for good. So yeah, that's pretty much where we left it, and um, still disturbing. We'll see what happens if more undead come back and try to take the campsite back, or if we'll finally meet another Lessig, or what will happen between the party as they discuss how we dealt with the situation and what our new plan of action is. Personally, as Toby's character, yeah, he's still a little disturbed with all the undead that he's being faced with. He's very uncomfortable with the finality of being dead, and will do whatever he can to make sure that that doesn't happen. And he kind of left some things unresolved with not really wanting to talk about the the onyx stone that got smashed and separated in a couple pieces. So maybe he'll feel comfortable with sharing some more information about that. Maybe you won't. So there's a lot of details in between. So if you guys want to fill those in, our VODs are up on twitch.com, Tainted Lands, Mr. Mournton, and hopefully you guys will check that out and check us out on Monday nights, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And yeah, follow us on Twitter and give us some good feedback. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and yeah, hopefully we will hear from you and you guys like what you see. All right. Thank you.